What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Well, feels like it's been a while since I did one of these news updates. Guys, life has been very busy. Podcast has been doing great. Hope you guys have been enjoying the episodes of the Bodybuilding Breakdown. Lots more to come there. But let's get back into some bodybuilding news. Starting this one off with Logan Franklin actually taking the win at the Florida Pro, making his way back to the Olympia stage for the 7th time in his 9-year career. Logan Franklin, I think, brought his absolute best to the stage here in Florida. You guys got to check out this footage. It seems like every time we've seen Logan Franklin take the stage in the last 2 seasons, I think it's fair to say, he has been better and better. Increase in fullness, I think, is what we're seeing this time around. Conditioning, ridiculous. Ever since he really teamed up with Tuor, I think that conditioning factor has really come through for Logan. But we're also seeing the fullness now to go along with it. And this is the best look for Logan Franklin, I think, hands down, that we've ever seen on a bodybuilding stage. Logan posting on his Instagram, "Blessed tonight with this victory." Tuor, he tags, "We did it, coach. Qualifying for the Olympia for the 7th time in the last 9 years. And I am finally beginning to figure it TF out." Even when it comes to the posing for Logan Franklin, I think he's refined his posing over time as well. And this is a guy that has won multiple awards for his posing, including at the Arnold Classic, you guys, okay? It just seems like he has a flow that really fits the level of physique that he currently has. And when it comes to classic physique, that is very important these days. In bodybuilding in general, your presentation, I think, is something that is becoming more and more noted and really scrutinized by the fans, the judges. Without a doubt, Logan Franklin is playing into this modern age of classic physique. And in the eyes of some, he's actually setting a bit of a standard. AJ Kelly Robert actually posting on his Instagram, he would not be upset if Bob Ciccarello was to announce Logan Franklin as the new champion in classic physique on the Olympia stage. Now, I think that there are some guys that it's going to be very difficult for Logan to get past. But when it comes to the standard of classic physique, what is that we want to see on that classic physique stage? For 6 solid years, it has been Chris Bumstead. That has been the standard. This will be the first year that could be up for debate as to what we want to see become the standard in classic physique. And don't kid yourselves, guys, these things do evolve over time. And we will see an evolution this year on the classic physique stage. The heir apparent being Mike Sommerfeld. Everybody assuming that Mike will take home that win, become the new standard for classic physique. Now, I don't know about Logan being a new standard for classic physique. I think, to be honest, that might be a bit of a stretch at this point, but you gotta love the story behind this guy. Never giving up. Logan has never given up when it comes to competing. I remember just a few years ago when Ron Harris was actually still working for Muscular Development, he had Logan on his channel, Logan speaking about doing some self-coaching at the time, saying, look, if I screw it up, it's entirely on me. And you know, for a while there, Logan was kind of screwing it up. He has completely turned that around by finding the right coach to work with, and look, the results are speaking for itself. So Logan is going back to the Olympia. You guys, I want to know what you think about this current version of Logan Franklin. Look, do you think that Logan could be considered to be in the conversation for a new standard of classic physique? Like I said, for myself, that might be a bit of a stretch, but there's no doubt about it. We will see the best Logan Franklin, I think, on the Olympia stage this year. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Next up, we have an update from Stephane Matala at 3 weeks out from the France Pro, which will qualify him for the 2026 Mr. Olympia if he can pull off the victory. Now, a lot of people probably asking, wasn't Stephane supposed to compete at the Italy Pro this weekend? And I actually believe that he was, and I have no explanation as to why he is not competing at that show. He definitely looks like he could step on stage based on the updates that he is posting. Who knows, you guys? What I do know is that Stephane has been adamant in taking the amount of time that he needs to make the improvements in order to come in at his absolute best. When it comes to the France Pro, my guess is that him and Patrick Tuor really just decided that they need to figure out how this guy is going to react when it comes to actually stepping on stage. I'm sure that with the added size, they want to go through the motions of going through a peak week, doing the rebound, really finding out how he is going to react when it comes to all of those factors. And Stephane, being the competitor that he is, having the confidence, the full confidence of his coach. Not very often that we'll see Patrick Tuor actually speak out on behalf of an athlete when it comes to some of the criticism that an athlete receives online. But Patrick Tuor actually did post something on his Instagram not long ago saying that he really does not like the criticism that Stephane has been getting lately. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people seem to focus on the negatives with Stephane Matala instead of really the overwhelming positives that he does have in his physique. And he does have some very overwhelming positive aspects, you guys. And look, I'll be the first to admit it. I counted this guy out when it came to him moving into the open. I did not think he could put on the muscle mass in order to be any kind of competitive in the open. Granted, we still do need to see him step on stage, but he is currently weighing in at 250 pounds. And he does have some very overwhelming aspects when it comes to his physique, even now. The conditioning factor. Who has conditioning like this? Who has chest striations like this? You know, the roundness of the shoulders, the roundness of the triceps, even the roundness of the quads. You guys, this is a guy that if he does put on, of course, I think a few more pounds, obviously, he could do very, very well when it comes to that open class. Being a shorter competitor, I don't think is that much of a detriment in the open these days either. The fact of the matter is, this guy could be very, very good. And I think he is very good for the sport of bodybuilding, especially entering the open class. Now, we do need to continue to hold a high standard when it comes to bodybuilding. And we do need to mention the fact that this guy needs to improve on his back. It has been the number one thing that Stephane Matala has to improve on. We are not seeing those improvements as of yet, I don't feel. This is the one thing the guy needs to concentrate on. When he can bring up the back, especially in the back double bicep, I think that he could be very dangerous. This does expose the weakness that he does actually have. Now, the back double is one thing, but it's funny. The back lat spread is actually not bad. He does have a decent amount of width in that back lat spread. There's definitely improvements to be made there, but I don't think it's as far behind as the back double. And you know, we see that in certain competitors these days. Guys that come to mind are guys like Beef Stew. Back double, not that great, but the back lat spread, actually not bad. Akeem Williams is another one. There's also Horse MD. Horse MD has an awesome back lat spread, but when it comes to the back double, there's just something lacking there. No different for Stephane Matala. So as he is willing to take his time to really get it right, I am looking forward to seeing him stepping on stage in just 3 weeks regardless. You guys let me know what you think this version of Stephane Matala can do when it comes to damage on an open stage. Personally, especially given the fact that I did count this guy out when he said he was going to switch over to open, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with what he currently has. You know, it seems like this video is becoming the news updates of the guys that are really counted out. Tonio Burton, definitely no stranger to being counted out. You know, you guys got to remember, this guy finished 8th place at the 2023 Mr. Olympia, okay? And you know what he was actually weighing at the 2023 Mr. Olympia? This guy weighed 214 pounds on stage. Now sitting at 239 pounds, there are definite improvements that we are seeing from Tonio Burton from a size standpoint. The shoulders, obviously ridiculous. They always have been. The arms have grown in size. I think he has more quad sweep, but he has kept that midsection in check. Tonio Burton is not someone to be counted out at the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Antonio actually has his sights set on that first call out. I'm very confident about that. Check it out.
We will be in that first call out, 100%. I know all the names that are coming, you know, guys. People predict top 5 or 6, 7, 8, whatever. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I think the only ones that can say their place in the top 5 is secure is Derek, Nick, Sensen, and Hadi. Getting that top 5 first call out it's going to be one of those I told you so moments, but at the same time, a thankful moment.
So there's some big names that have to be beat in order to make it into that first call-out, excluding, as Tonio said, Samson, Nick, Hadi, Derek. He thinks that those are the top 4 lock. And you know what? I actually agree with him in no particular order. I'll give you guys my predictions in a later video. But Tonio essentially saying that he can defeat guys like Martin Fitzwater, finished 4th last year in the Olympia. Andrew Jack took 5th last year in the Olympia. We've got William Bonac, Brandon Curry, Neckzilla. I mean, good Vito, you guys. These are serious competitors that really are going to show up much bigger than Tonio. So although Tonio is bigger now, the question is, will the size that he's put on be able to carry him past some of these guys that will be bigger than him? But Tonio may have that aesthetic shape and flow and presentation over some of these guys. That's a real interesting question when it comes to the 2025 Olympia. Because I do think that Tonio will have superior shape and flow than a lot of those guys I just mentioned. But again, will he have the size to put him in a first call-out situation? And look, I don't want to count the guy out, but it is going to be a hell of a challenge for him to make that first call-out. Is it possible? Well, you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And rounding out this video with an update from Urs Kalecinski, who will be competing in the Italy Pro. And you guys, we have seen absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, from Urs Kalecinski when it comes to physique updates leading up to the show. We have some fan footage of Urs Kalecinski in a sleeveless shirt, mind you, but you know what? I think it is enough to tell us everything that we need to know about how Urs is looking from a size standpoint right now. You guys, the fact of the matter is, I don't think that Urs has the size in order to compete on the open stage as of yet. Making a very early announcement in comparison to how close it was to the show, that he not only will be competing at that show, but he will be competing in the open division. Says that he's up 18 kilograms, if memory serves correctly. Well, look, he might be up 18 kilograms, but I think he needs to go up another 18 kilograms more, you guys. Now, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but he definitely does not look big enough to stand on an open stage right now. Urs posting on his Instagram that he is very confident with the progress that he's made in the 3.0 version. But again, you guys, I just don't think that it's going to be enough for him to be competitive in this lineup especially. You know, you've got guys that are very aesthetic, you've got guys that have some serious size, and you've got guys that are bringing some serious conditioning. So I'll touch on some of that here in a minute. But look, I do like the move into the open division for Urs. I know that it was very difficult for him to suck down to make that classic weight. So a lot of competitors, when they have to suck down, sacrifice the muscle in order to really make that weight. And you know, that was probably the case for Urs Kalecinski as well. I do like the fact that he's going into open, but is he ready to get on that open stage and really be competitive as of yet? Especially given the fact that this is a guy that has finished top 3 on the classic physique stage. It just doesn't look like it's enough as of yet. Based on what we're seeing here, which is essentially the arms and the calves, even though nobody cares about calves, I just don't think that it's going to be enough for him to make, well, when it comes to the placing, that's a whole other conversation in and of itself. Just look at the lineup that we have for this Italy Pro. Shout out to Muscle Insight, who actually put all this together. You've got Quentin Araya, who will be able to match him when it comes to aesthetics and will be bigger than Urs Kalecinski from what I can see. Mark Hector, exactly the same thing. Sergio Oliva Jr., I think, definitely bigger. You could argue aesthetics when it comes to Sergio, but I do think that he'll defeat him. When it comes to conditioning, Amir Omaragic, who actually is not known as the biggest guy on stage typically, but looks absolutely ridiculous when it comes to conditioning right now. I saw a one-day-old update, you guys. Amir, I think, will definitely be pushing when it comes to conditioning. Then you've got guys like William Martins, who typically does not hit his conditioning very well, but is absolutely massive. Fio Laguerrier actually looking very good as well. Tim Budesheim making his return to the stage. Lewis Breed looks like he is shredded, hard, grainy muscle, huge. So look, when you look at this entire lineup, you guys, and then you look at what Urs Kalecinski is going to be bringing to the stage, okay? Based on what we can see here. He can't win on aesthetics with some of these guys. He can't win on conditioning compared to some of these guys. And he can't win on size. So where is he going to place in this lineup? I'm very interested to know what you guys think about what we're seeing from Urs Kalecinski here. I think it's still going to be a fantastic show. Again, being so late in the season to have a lineup of competitors like this, 2025 has been a ridiculous competitive season, you guys, and I'm very, very glad that I was able to be a part of it. Now, just a couple other updates before I wrap up this video. I will be appearing on the Lee Priest Unfiltered podcast coming up this week. We'll be filming that. I'll let you guys know when that does drop, and I will be on the premiere episode of the Meathead podcast, hosted by Ron Harris. I'll be on there with the host of the Overcome podcast. I apologize, his name is escaping me right now. Really apologize about that, as well as Lee Priest. It's going to be awesome, you guys. Really happy to get that invite. So stay tuned for that. Check out BayouMuscles.com. Use code EP10 at checkout. Appreciate everybody supporting the channel thus far. And follow me on Instagram. Link is in the description below if you want to follow my training. Appreciate you guys as always. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Thank you guys for tuning into EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.